In New York, federal mediators are set to meet tomorrow morning with CIO electrical workers now striking the Sperry Corporation. Today, the walkout brought violence on Long Island.
Local 450 is on strike. Please respect our picket lines. Do not cross our picket lines. Our picket lines are illegal.
The pickets started lining up outside the Sperry plant at Lake Success at 5:30 this morning. There were some 2,000 of them around the main gate at the time the first shift was due to report for work. Here at the former site of the United Nations, 2 policemen attempted to cope with the mass picket line and keep things peaceful. Cars were lined up for a quarter of a mile as the strikers blocked the main gate. At least 60 cars were damaged as non-union employees and supervisory personnel of Sperry tried to cross the picket lines. In one case, a small car was picked up with passengers and carried out to the road away from the gate.
There are a few philosophies that serve the interest of the company. The first one would be the Mohawk Valley formula, which is actually a plan, some call it a scientific method of strike breaking, and it includes discrediting union leaders, frightening the public with the threat of violence, using local police and vigilantes to intimidate strikers, forming puppet associations of loyal employees to influence public debate, fortifying workplaces, employing large numbers of replacement workers, and also threatening to close a plant if work is not resumed. Another ploy that companies sometimes use to stop strikes is the International Labor Organization, which their associate committee never explicitly mentions the right to strike. However, among human rights treaties, many people consider this to be a right of the freedom of speech. Workers are protected often through the formation of unions, which became popular after the Industrial Revolution. The formation of a union can protect a worker's rights. Now, the National Labor Relations Act, or sometimes called the Wagner Act, passed in 1935, limits the means with which employers may react to workers in the private sector who create labor unions or engage in collective bargaining. This means that a company can only do so much to interfere. They can only do so much during a strike to stop it or put an end to it. Although the United States Labor Relations Act bars strikebreakers as an interference with the right to strike, the U.S. Supreme Court case NLRB versus McKay Radio also states that an employer may not discriminate on the basis of union activity, pretty much meaning that the ruling encourages employers to hire strikebreakers so that the union loses majority support in the workplace. This also means that the employers enjoy the unrestricted right to replace permanently the strikers with the strikebreakers.
Aren't you gonna come along? Aren't you gonna fight?
In 1894, the nation's economy was mired in a severe depression. The Pullman Palace Car Company of Illinois was cutting wages in response to the weakening demand for train cars. Now, this move prompted 4,000 workers, all members of the American Railway Union, to strike. In the photograph, federal troops are seen escorting a train through a group of angry workers in Chicago. The strike hurt rail travel as union members refused to work on any train with a Pullman car. The Pullman strike eventually gave way to the U.S. labor movement. In 1912, Lawrence, Massachusetts gained national attention when 30,000 textile workers made labor history in the famous Bread and Roses strike. At the time, a state law had trimmed the work week to 54 hours from 56. and mills responded by reducing wages. Disgruntled workers walked off the job. Women and immigrants played a key role in this strike, which earned its name from the picketers' banners that said, "We want bread and roses too."
Think about the blood that's pumping, keeping you.
In 1981, about 16,000 air traffic controllers took to picket lines, demanding a shorter work week and wage increases. Now, this strike is most remembered not for the flight delays and whatnot that occurred for about 3 days, but more so for President Ronald Reagan, in one of his most defining moments of his presidency, said that air traffic controllers were breaking the law, and he gave them 48 hours to return to work. When they didn't, which they didn't, the strike lasted for more than 3 days. In 48 hours, when they didn't return, he fired them all. One of the more recent and long-lasting strikes in America would probably be the Writers Guild of America strike, which occurred from November 2007 to February 2008. And the main goal was basically to rectify what was perceived as historical injustice, the fact that writers were receiving less and less money as opposed to the larger studios that had huge budget increases.
Last one went quite a while. We'll see. Again, this is, I like to believe there are reasonable people on both sides, and I'm not going to get into name calling. These people are greedy, these people are stupid. It's one of these horrible situations where hopefully they'll get in a room and they'll talk, and that's what will happen. They're writers; they should be able to communicate what they want, and maybe they'll reach a settlement. I make a lot of money. I have no problem sharing it with people. So how much do you need? So hopefully it'll work out. Cool. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
How important is the solidarity between the actors and the writers to making sure that this strike goes?
The solidarity between actors and writers is crucial, and it will hopefully give more power to the Writers Guild and ultimately bring this strike to a fair and equitable and quick resolve.
Also, what is the status of your show at the moment?
We have shut down production because of the strike.
Okay, well, thank you. It was great chatting.
Fellow strikebreakers, you done good work tonight. Yeah! We busted the heads of those filthy unionizers, we broke apart their picket line, and we showed them that management always wins. Crush the unions! Crush the unions! Now, tomorrow, we got hired by the Peerless Steel Plant to bust up another strike.
No unions! No unions! How much are we gonna get paid?
It's the usual daily rate, $2 a head.
$2 a head?
$2?
That's not fair.
Yeah.
We want more. We want more.
Yeah, we want more. You guys are the best strike busters in the county. Maybe you should get more.
Excuse me, but what happens if the management don't want to give us more?
Then we refuse to work. We ain't gonna bust no more strikes until they agree to our demands.
Yeah! More! We want more! We want more! Union or die! Union or...
What? He's a union guy. Get him! Now, getting back to this idea about not working until we get higher wages. We either stick together or we perish apart.
Last week when we were beating the hell out of the cannery workers, I broke a tooth. Now I can't afford to fix it.
You know what? We should establish some kind of fund.
Full dental and medical coverage.
That's it. We refuse to work until we get higher wages and full medical.
Full medical coverage! Yeah! Union!
Now get that union son of a bitch!
With all this organizing and medical coverage, how are we going to pay these administrative costs?
We could pay dues. With the pay raise we get, we can afford it.
The union will never
you again. Get that no-good striker. Singed my thumb as I burned down the homes of the Union men. As I shot them running from the shanty town, I singed my thumb again. But who'll take care of my thumb? Who'll look after me? I'm just trying to earn an honest wage to feed my family.
Feed my family.
That was beautiful, you guys. Let's go smash some Union heads.
Yeah!